Hang on. Hang on.
Come on.
Grab onto this.
Lucky.
Come on, grab onto it. There's no time. Hold this.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, just hold it. Come on, brace yourself over here.
All right. Oh no! Stefan, are you all right?
Sinking.
Luke, come quickly! Over here!
Spencer! Throw the rope! Throw it! I can't hold it much longer. Hang on, Lucky!
Luke, what are you gonna do?
Grab the rope! I can't reach. Come on, try again! If I move, he'll go under! Get in here!
Luke, be careful!
I can't keep him up! Give me your hands! Come on.
Lucky?
Oh, boy.
Oh, Luke. Oh, my God. He's freezing. He's freezing.
It's all right. Everything's gonna be okay, Kyle.
It's cold. It started to sink.
Oh, honey, you're okay. You're okay. We're gonna get you right to the hospital.
I want to go home.
I know, sweetie. You're gonna be all right. Stefan, are you all right?
Your son's right. The water's cold. Other than that, I'm fine.
Thank you.
Thank you. Because of him, your son could have died.
No, unlike you, I don't make war on children.
You ain't gonna live long enough to
Stop
make war
it!
on
Oh,
anybody.
is that right?
Stop it, both of you.
What are you saying? I should thank him?
No.
I don't owe him anything.
Well, good. We all know where we stand. Good night.
No, not until you tell me who's responsible for all of this.
I can't, Lasha. And if you persist in asking, you may risk losing the one thing you want most in this world.
What is it that you think I want most in the world? And why would you take it away from me?
I'm trying to give it back. It wasn't a threat. It was a promise of hope.
Who did this?
He did. The whole thing stinks of Cassadine.
Helena?
Helena's on her deathbed, babe. Come on, he's playing you like a violin again.
Lucky?
Mac! Luke! My kid's freezing. Get him out of here.
What's going on? Wallace, get in here.
Get him out of here.
Get him in the car. Get a blanket on him. Oh, my. Get him out of here. Laura, you go with him. Warm him up. Let's go. Come on. Get in the car.
You bastards!
Look, cast on you.
Break it up!
Wallace!
Break it up! Luke, let him go!
All right, calm down. Luke, I suggest you go home and take care of your boy.
All right!
Get out of here, Luke. You just calm down. Care to make a statement?
Without my attorney present. And unless you want to charge me for saving the life of a child, I'll be on my way.
You be careful, Cassadine. Spencer is dangerous.
gonna be all right?
Yeah, for how long? While you were up there, I swept the room, Laura. Look what I found. This little present from Uncle Stefan.
What?
What does it look like? It's a bug, darling. You threw me out and Stefan bugged my house.
Well, you don't know that it was him.
Well, who do you think, Helena? You think maybe Helena climbed in a window one night and stuck this up under the table there? Like, you know, she's got a respirator she's got to drag around.
Is it possible that maybe this time she deceived you? You know, maybe this time, for once, the all-powerful Luke Spencer was wrong.
No way! The Cassadines are after all of us. And I will not leave my kids unprotected. From now on, I sleep in my own house.
Not in my bed.
Well, then on the couch or the floor or in the... wherever. But I'm sleeping here and I'm taking care of my kids. And as of now, the radio transmission to Windermere is over and out. Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah. Oh. I told you he wasn't smart enough to give us a backup in here. I mean, overconfidence is going to kill this guy, I swear.
Thank God that's over.
You think you're relieved? Tried sleeping on my couch in my office and sharing a bathroom with Mike.
Well, you'll just have to let me know if ours is any better.
No, you don't. I'm sleeping with you tonight,
Oh, back where you belong. I missed you so much.
Either the bug's gone or you guys just blew a month's hard work.
baby. The Cassadine listening device is no more. So, we can strategize in peace. Tell me about this game. Why were you playing, and what is its goal?
I'm coming. Goodness. Stefan?
The game was never about leading to real places. I mean, yeah, you have to understand that was me. I did that. The point of the game was to rescue the lady.
What lady?
The lonely lady Manguard. She comes after you pass the 5th level. I only got through 2.
Well, what do you say we go for level 3?
Why?
Because Stefan went to a lot of trouble to set this up, and if he wasn't just trying to drown you in a bog, he's got some other reason. So get to work. Come on, get to it. What was Stefan saying to you while Mac questioned me?
Nothing that made any sense. I asked him why would he want to take the thing that I wanted most in the world. And he said that he was trying to give it back. He also said something about the promise of hope. What could he mean by that?
did this to you.
Listen, your nephew is fine.
Who, Lucky?
Yes. They didn't tell you? Oh, they will.
Tell me what?
That ring of swamps out past City Line Road, he got himself caught in the mud and he was sinking. They say it was my fault, of course, but, you know, I don't care. Let them think I'm an animal. I really don't care. But I do care what you think, Barbara. I would never hurt a child, ever.
I believe you.
Thank you. I've said my piece.
Wait, Stefan. Don't go.
I've got some first aid supplies in the kitchen, so I'll be right back. In case I should lop off my finger one night chopping carrots or decide to stab some semi-innocent bystander. So what was Lucky doing at City Line Road at this hour?
Apparently he was led there by someone who engaged him in a computer game. Someone he met on the internet.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. And Luke thinks it was you?
Well, Laura called me, accusing me at first, and then she asked for my help. Fortunately, I was able to find them quickly enough.
Sorry. Laura and her mixed messages.
So I tried to get him out of the muck and was mired in it myself.
Oh, well, it's obviously something symbolic in there, but you succeeded. Here.
No, Luke did. He got us both out.
Sorry. I know it must have been terrifying for you, but the thought of my brother coming to your rescue.
Now, believe me, if I hadn't been holding the boy's head above the surface, I would still be in there.
Oh, really? Well, this will either make my brother more unbearable than ever, or he'll be so tortured by the thought that he could have let you drown that he'll never sleep again. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad you went. It doesn't sound as if my nephew would be safe at home if you hadn't, but tell me something. When are you going to stop letting Laura tug on your leash?
No, you don't understand, Barbara. They held me responsible.
Ah, sorry. You know something? They hold you responsible for everything. Next summer, Luke will be blaming the mosquitoes on you. But unless Lucky's laptop is wired directly to his brain, how could somebody on the internet make him jump into 10 feet of marsh mud? I don't know. That boy, he's never had enough discipline. Luke is so determined to be his best buddy, and they keep Laura feeling so guilty that she won't say boo. Not that they're bad parents, mind you. I don't mean that.
Well, Barbara, I'm obliged to take this seriously. Luke could be half right. It could have been Helena.
Playing computer games? Please. I thought she was like 110 and on a ventilator.
Well, you don't know my mother. This could be some last gasp effort at revenge.
Oh, really? Well, then why don't Lucky's parents take his computer away from him, or let him go out for cross-country, or let him collect magazines like a normal teenage boy?
Common sense. It always takes you to show me that it exists. Well, thank you for your kind attention, Nurse Jones.
Where do you think you're going?
I'm going home.
Pardon me, but you don't look like you could make it to the corner. I'll help you get back to Spoon Island.
No, Barbara, I'll be fine, really. You shouldn't get involved in this.
Well, you know something? I don't play computer games, and I don't go near the swamp.
I'm also thinking of your brother now.
Oh, yeah? Well, you know something? Luke thinks enough of himself for all of us. So I wouldn't worry about that. And, I gotta go, you know? Because if I get any more, bread picked up for stuffing, I'm gonna get a repetitive stress injury, and then I'll end up with a cast on my arm. Not that I would mind a cast on my arm, because then I can knock a few heads around. Well?
Talk me into it. You're very kind.
Luke who? This place is called Luke's. Luke who?
Oh, right. Your family and the Spencers. I forgot. You know, I really wasn't thinking. I'm sorry.
It doesn't matter to me as long as you don't mind Luke roaring down on our table saying a lot of short, stupid sentences really loud.
His bark is much worse than his bite.
Yeah, but, you know, then again, he did kill my father, so...
What's Catherine taking a page out of Calvin Klein's book? It looks like her latest face of deception's barely old enough to use aftershave.
Well, you don't want to scratch or sniff that one. That's no motto. That's the Cassadine kid. Seat him. See how long he stays seated.
Hi. Table
Hi.
for two?
That's right.
Sure. Right here.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. 3 olive martini?
Yeah.
And
Would you happen to have a Nouveau Beaujolais by the class, perhaps?
yes, we do. But for you,
Club soda with a lemon.
coming right up.
You know, we don't have to stay here. I don't want to.
I'm your guest. Who am I to object? Spencers don't bother me.
I see. So it takes an outrage to provoke you, is that it? Like my taking pictures at Windermere?
Windermere is my home. I don't want to trivialize, that's all.
Oh, you think what I do is trivial, do you?
Yes. But then again, I think most work is.
I have never heard anybody say that out loud.
But you've thought it. You know what you should do? You should marry money.
I used to think that, but I don't need to anymore.
No. And all along, I was gonna shower you with expensive gifts.
My camera! Nicholas, you already replaced mine, remember?
No, that's a much better model than the one I sent to the bottom of the lake.
That's very nice of you. Of course, it would be a lot nicer if you let me use it.
You certainly have a one-track mind, don't you?
Yes, I know. I'm famous for that. Listen, I think that Windermere is magnificent. The setting, the structure, the whole thing. And if you and your uncle, is it, would let me do my deception shoot there, I promise you that I would treat it with the utmost respect. And I would shoot the whole thing where you wouldn't even recognize it. So what do you think?
I don't know. How are we gonna settle this? Arm wrestle for it?
Well, that's not very sporting, is it? I think that Luke has a pool table in the back room.
You think he's back there with a cigar and his brewski?
He's not even here. So what do you think? Or do you just like to play games that you know you're gonna win?
I've always wanted to ask you something. How do you heat this place?
Well, that fireplace in there takes care of that room. Ask me again in January. Well, you've delivered me to my door. I'm not sure it was necessary, but I thank you.
You're welcome. I should go and let you get some sleep.
Oh, Barbara, stop being a nurse. I may be healthy, wealthy, and wise, but I never go to bed this early. What I would prescribe is a glass of port. Will you join me?
I really should be going.
Why? You have something pressing to rush off to?
Well, yes, but hey, as long as you're pouring, why don't you fix me a nice stiff drink?
Of?
I truly do not care.
I'll tell you what I would like to do. I would like to get out of these clothes. That is, if you can entertain yourself for a moment while I'm upstairs.
Not a problem. It's Thanksgiving. I'll count my blessings. Okay, I'm done.
Think harder. I'll be right back.
What am I doing? I don't know, whatever I'm doing, I'm doing it.
Well,
I saw the card.
no need to apologize.
I wasn't going to.
I didn't know how I'd work up to giving it to you. Now I don't have to. It's been in my family for generations. My father gave it to me when his mother died and told me to save it for the woman I wanted to spend my life with.
But you never found her. So, now it's a pricey thank you gift for a woman who slept with you once? Are the pickings that slim?
Are you trying to insult me?
Yes. I don't understand this, and I don't like it.
Well, then, have your stiff drink and forget you ever saw it.
Stefan, that is a diamond engagement ring. Apparently, your grandmother's.
I know what it is, Barbara.
Well, so? Why would you want to give it to me? You can't want to marry me.
No, I would be a fool to think of anything like that. Wouldn't I?
Oh, my God. Stefan?
Maybe you were right, Barbara. Maybe you should leave.
We start this over?
Listen, I made a grievous mistake. I misjudged your feelings for me. Can we leave it at that?
No. No, it was my mistake. You weren't wrong. I do care for you.
I don't care to be cared about. That I can get from the dogs and the staff. Thank you.
I really didn't know I meant anything much to you.
Well, you don't seem particularly pleased to find out.
Well, I want to be. I'm just always so used to being bought off. You know, Tony tells me that he loves me and he'll be there for me for the rest of my life. Oh, by the way, our shirt's back from the cleaners because he's got a hot little date tonight with his hot little girlfriend. And Luke, you know, Luke, I know he would do anything for me. He calls me darling, he calls me pumpkin, and he calls me a dozen other pet names, all too dopey to mention. But really, little Barbara Jean isn't bright enough to lead her own life, so why not order me around like a trained flea and make me feel about the same size? All those sugar-coated words always seem to be followed by a kick in the teeth, so if you say something nice to me, my assumption is that you have something better to do.
I know this is all wrong. You're Luke's sister. You're Laura's sister-in-law. Your divorce papers aren't a month old. These things should be insurmountable. And would be. But Barbara, I've always known how I'd recognize the woman I'd marry.
How?
She would be the one person on earth more lonely than I am.
I got a question to ask you, too.
It's Luke Spencer's pool table, and it's probably Tilden.
You know what I think? I think you let me win. And you know what else? I think you like me. And you wouldn't mind if I shot at Windermere, but you are too stubborn to let me know that you changed your mind.
Well, that does sound like something I do.
Oh, Mac. Mac, there's somebody I want you to meet. Nicholas Cassadine. This is Police Commissioner Mac Scorpio, my significant other.
How do you do?
I recognize you from the photographs your uncle gave me when you were missing.
You were missing?
In fact, I just saw Stefan tonight. A little worse for wear after his latest tangle with the Spencers. But don't worry, he's fine. He's fine.
Of course he's fine. It's an everyday occurrence. But I realized we'd have to be citizens to ask the police to stop the harassment. Excuse me.
He's just like that.
No answer.
All right, then. You know what? I am going to pick up this check, and we can talk about this photo shoot another time. I'm sure right now all you want to do is go home.
Trying to get rid of me?
For Mac? I don't know what even brought him here, but I can promise you it wasn't for me.
Okay. I guess that's good night. Thank you for a wonderful evening.
Pleasure was mine.
Stefan, you hardly know me.
Do I strike you as someone who is inclined to rashness?
No.
Do I strike you as a man who is controlled by his sexual appetites?
No.
Have you ever seen me pursue other women? Have you ever seen me with any other woman besides my nephew's mother?
No.
Do you want me to tell you that I love you? Is that it?
No.
I could. I could do that. I could make all sorts of professions. I could admire your eyes, your beauty, your directness. But you've just had 8 years of declarations. 8 anniversaries with a man who swore he'd always love you and instead broke your heart. I would think you've had all you can stand of love, or the chatter of love. In any case, love is not the strongest human bond. Love is frail compared to need. No creature will starve for its young. Yet some will devour them in order to survive. Would it surprise you to know that I have a very clear picture of the rest of my life without you? It looks a lot like this room before you walked into it. A long hallway with death at the end. It's tragic and comic and commonplace. And if I must accept it, I will. Do you ever imagine the rest of your life, Barbara?
I try not to think about it.
Could you perhaps imagine it spent not alone, but as my wife?
Committed to.
Hi.
Hi.
Mom go to bed?
Yep. Well, she's not really in bed. She's on the bed with Lulu in her arms, conked out with one shoe on and one shoe off. She lacks that dark night owl chromosome that we share.
I keep telling her, you know, I keep telling her, why sleep all night when you can sleep all day at school?
That's my boy. Hey, what do you say we scare up some coffee and find some chocolate bars, get the caffeine pumping, and try and figure out what the hell Stefan Cassadine is after?
It's a good idea.
You're actually asking to marry me.
I've never proposed before. Was I being unclear?
Oh, no. Unnerving, mostly.
Well, you caught me off guard. I wasn't prepared. But you were here, you found the ring. And I've said the word so many times before in my head.
Stefan, I am very flattered. I'm very touched.
I see.
I guess it's the way you see me. It sounds so idealized. And that's not me. I've led a very complicated life. There are so many things about me that you don't know.
I doubt that. Very much.
So when I called from the launch, I woke up the housekeeper, and she says Uncle's fine. He just wasn't answering because he has company. And I thought if you were still here that you might want some too, so how about another martini?
You're just trying to get me to let my guard down.
Oh, I'll be your guard.
You sound like you mean that.
Well, I don't say things I don't mean. Well, between midnight and 2 a.m. anyway.
All right. Tell me what I don't need to cover.
Your years as a prostitute. The child you gave up for adoption. Your previous 2 husbands, Mr. Brock and Mr. Meyer. Your friendships with Scott Baldwin, Roy DeLuca, Noah Drake. None of which keeps you from surprising me each time you walk in the room. For all the sinister deeds your brother lays at my feet, I'm much less a man who does things than a man who knows things. In my own life, the moments that meant the most were those that came without warning, without witness. I could be alone in a room, or with one other person on a bench overlooking the sea, or in a dark study late at night. I suppose I try to become witness by proxy to those lives I sense might influence mine. And I know how invasive it must feel to hear that you've been researched in this way.
It does. But to be honest, it's also a relief. I have wasted far too much time being hoisted up onto pedestals only to fall on my derriere. There are 2 kinds of women, Stefan. There's Laura and there's me. Laura's a princess. Now, don't get me wrong, I love her most days, but I'm definitely not a princess. Now, I'm not saying I'm crude or foul-mouthed, or that I can't operate an oyster fork right along with the best of them, but I am not what a man as refined as you are is looking for in a wife.
Refined. Well, that's very generous, considering you could have said, peculiar. You know, I wasn't always such a formal gentleman in tastefully dark attire. But after my father died, and then my brother, necessity descended like a straitjacket around me. Like you, I am what circumstances made me. You escaped yours. I'm still a prisoner. But I have a passion in me that would make a princess cower. And when we made love, I was anything but refined. Barbara, you're my escape. Back to myself. And I won't let you go. I won't have you as a mistress, Barbara.
Stefan, what century is your vocabulary living in? I mean, a single woman and a single man can conduct a relationship without one of them having to wear a scarlet letter.
And where would these liaisons take place? At your home, with Lucas down the hall? Not here, certainly. It is my role to teach Nicholas by example what is expected of him as the head of our family. And believe me, a Cassadine needs inhibitions, which his father, who had none, is proof.
Well, then tell me this. After 3 failed marriages and 3 promises to love me forever that were as easy to break as breadsticks, why would I want to be anyone's wife again?
Divorce is unknown in my family. Why? Because love is the least of the promises we make. Would you sign a contract vowing to be nothing but amused every day till you die? Would you believe anyone who did? And yet that's what people do, by the thousands, every day, stand before God and man and swear to feel the way they feel this minute for the rest of their lives. For us, the old ways are still best. If love increases, it's a blessing. If it cools, it's a disappointment. But the marriage still survives because it's founded not on a feeling, but on the most fundamental human concerns. Children, property, security.
I'm not able physically to have children.
You have a son. I have Nicholas. You know how fond of you he is. How naturally he's drawn to children.
Lucas still misses his big sister terribly.
Would there be any question of how they dote on each other? And as for property, I have much more than I know what to do with.
Well, I own the house that I live in outright. So that and the rent income from it would remain mine.
I always had my own money. Until Tony and our joint account. And then suddenly I couldn't get a chair reupholstered without producing a receipt. Yet he thought nothing of writing out a check to his girlfriend.
It's degrading for a woman to ask her husband for money. What I would prefer is to set up an account in your name. Say as a wedding gift, with a reasonable initial deposit, say $5-6 million, and make monthly deposits thereafter for you to spend on Lucas, yourself, what have you. I would have no say and no access to it.
Stefan, I don't need $5 or $6 million.
Neither do I, but I have it. Why shouldn't my wife? And like it or not, marrying me will make you an influential woman. You'll be courted by foundations, commissions. I suppose how much you take on will depend on whether you continue working or not.
Weather? Wow, what a thought. I love my job, you know. I really busted my hump working my way up all these years, but come to think of it, I have gone as far as I can go at GH.
Well, you know your own mind. I won't presume to advise you. As for security, if in as little as 6 months you decide you can no longer remain in the marriage, you and Lucas would be financially stable for a good many years. But I think you know I take my commitments very seriously. If you become my wife, I'll do anything to keep you. Anything. These things I will promise you in return for the honor of your presence in my life. I'm a steady man. I will care for you, give you comfort and encouragement. And in return, I will only expect your loyalty, your honesty, your affection. You stop saying no.
Cassadines didn't want me dead, though. At least not this week. No, but Dad, him pulling me out, that wasn't an act. I mean, I could see it. He almost went in himself.
That's only because he knew that if you weren't alive tomorrow morning, he'd be dead by lunchtime.
So what kind of master plan is it if he gets himself off?
I don't know. Maybe he's not the master player on the board. Maybe this is Helena's game. Well, whoever. They had to know that they were sucking you in and that you were going to recognize the landmarks, like the smokestacks and the radio tower. They had to know that they were leading and you were following.
I was only at the 3rd level, though. You know, the only buried treasure was me. I jumped the gun, that's what happened.
Wait a minute. The thing we have to find out is what is at the end of this 5th level, this electronic rainbow.
Only one way to find out.
So there's an orchard on the island?
Well, it's more like a few apple trees. I'm making it look a little bit bigger than it really is.
Are they all gnarled and wonderful with the leaves gone?
I'm gonna head home, okay?
Yeah, I'll be right there.
Nice seeing you.
Well, this is going to be very helpful when I go to plan my photo shoot.
So do you and, your fiance...
Oh, don't let Mac hear you say that.
Okay, do you and, Mac live together then?
We are still in the, here's my spare key phase. We're pretty good about talking about the next step, but when it comes right to it, the things you ask.
Hey, you keep answering.
Listen, you are too young to even think of cohabitation, or even spell it.
I'd just be happy to get a date.
Oh, come on. I'm sure all the girls faint when you go by school.
Oh, school? Why would I want to go by there? Come on. What I really want to do is play pool. That is, if you're up for a rematch.
Oh, you can't stand being a loser, huh? Well, you will have to call me, and I'll look in my book.
Great. I'll walk you to your car.
She's gonna have to end up buying that puppy a leash.
And what is it you think I might not be saying, Barbara?
Well, you've been raising Nicholas alone for a long time. And now he's a teenager, a little unruly, in a new environment without all of the old controls. He's already run away once. Are you shopping for a mother for him?
Nicholas already has a mother. She's been nothing but a source of pain to him. Do I think you'll be a wise friend and a good influence on him? Yes. But for all his life, I've been enough for him. It's a little late to be shopping for a mother, don't you think?
Still, people will call me his stepmother. Are you hoping that'll make Laura jealous?
Laura has made it clear that she can only tolerate Nicholas as a casual acquaintance. She would have no grounds to be anything but grateful to you. Will she be jealous nonetheless? I couldn't say.
All right.
There's something else.
It's difficult, and it's insulting, but it's going to be raised whether I bring it up or not.
Then do.
Luke believes, and tells anyone who'll listen, that he's the reason why you're here. Of course, Luke has a tendency to believe that he's the reason we're all here. But he will never see your marrying me as anything but part of your family's revenge against him. So I'm asking point blank, how do I know he's not right?
Your brother is my enemy. I despise all that he has done and all that he is. If I were bent on revenge for the destruction of my family, then yes, his sister would be a good target. Imprisoning her, impoverishing her, even killing her, were I the fiend your brother says I am. But to marry her? To consign myself to a future with a woman I only pretend to care about who can't even give me children? To throw away my life, my hopes, for the momentary pleasure of infuriating Luke Spencer. What kind of revenge is that? If you can't believe I'm sincere, surely you won't accuse me of stupidity.
I'm sorry. I had to ask.
Barbara, I can take no private relish in how a marriage between us will torment him when I know how painful the outcome will be for you. Make no mistake, he will wash his hands of you.
No, I don't think he'll do that.
Barbara.
For so many years, all Luke and I had were each other. I really am the one person who can do just about anything, no matter how crazy or despicable he finds it. And he'll always find a way to forgive and accept it.
We'll see. Either way, I hope you're not telling me your answer depends upon him. It's intolerable to think that he could not only take my father and my brother, but now my chance at happiness and yours. But you must do what you must do. I've said all I can say.
I need time, Stefan.
Is that your answer?
No, I'm saying I need time to give you one. You've obviously thought this all through very carefully, and it wouldn't be fair to you if I didn't do the same.
You know what's best.
Good night. Hey, Nicholas.
Hello?
You're out awfully late.
Yes. I've asked Barbara to marry me.
Server is down or not responding. What'd I do wrong?
Nothing. Either Tamori is busy or they're doing something to it or they put it to bed for a while.
So how do we get in?
Could write a macro, time to try a page reload every 10 minutes.
Yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that.
I thought we'd have breakfast in here this morning. Scones aren't ready yet. You rushed off to bed so quickly last night, I thought you'd sleep in a little bit later.
Something happened between you and Luke Spencer last night.
Nothing of consequence.
Well, it must have upset you, or why would... Forget it, never mind.
No, Nicholas. Say what's on your mind.
You've never so much as even had a woman home for dinner before. At least not as long as I've been alive. Now suddenly you want to marry Luke Spencer's sister? It can only be because of Timoria revenge.
Don't be insolent. Has it ever occurred to you that I might be lonely? It's true that Barbara and I haven't known each other very long, but we've become close. I was hoping you'd approve of my choice.
No, I like Bobby. She's the only real friend I've made here. And you know I love you very much. I just...
What?
I don't want to see Bobby hurt. Can you promise me that won't happen?
I asked Barbara to marry me not because of her brother, but in spite of him. And I have no intention of hurting her, only of doing my best to make her happy. If you want my word on that, I'll give it to you.
Thank you.
Though I must say, I'm not pleased with the mistrust it shows of me.
Oh, come on, don't you think it's natural that I'd wonder?
I know best, Nicholas. Don't forget that.
Welcome back, noble warrior.
Hey, wake up. We're in. Come on.
Oh, sorry. Level 3.
God.
Okay. Start here.
Hey, wait a minute. Make the screen blank till I see who this is. Barbara.
Hi. I went to the club, and Sonny said that he didn't see you last night, so does that mean you're back?
Laura gave me permission to sleep on the couch. I didn't want to be away from my kid.
Hi, Aunt Bobby.
Hey, are you all right?
Yeah, Bobby. He's fine. No thanks to your friend, Stefan Cassadine.
As a matter of fact, you're not the only ones who lost sleep over Stefan. So
I trust you, Uncle. I also know you. Everyone is a tool to you. Something to be used or controlled.
Well, that's not very flattering.
It's how you are, even with me. The only difference is I know I'm being manipulated. Bobby doesn't. So I have to make sure she's not hurt.
Because she's your friend?
Because whatever it is you're doing is for me.
have you seen a doctor?
For what?
Hypothermia, pneumonia, dysentery. Lucky. You were submerged in a bog. Passed out from the cold. You probably swallowed some water.
Did Laura call you and ask you to come over and take a look at him?
No.
Well, then the reason that you had a sleepless night is becoming clear. You had a visit from Stefan Cassadine, didn't you?
Yes. I saw Stefan. He showed up at my door, half frozen and covered with mud.
And while you were warming him up and sponging him off, did he happen to mention that he tried to kill my son?
That's not what happened.
You were there?
Lucky was. Lucky, you want to tell me what happened? The truth, and not what you think your father wants you to say?
Is there a point to this interrogation, officer?
Yes, actually there is, Luke, and I'm sure you can see it coming. Did Stefan, or did he not, save Lucky's life last night?
Not! I could have held on till my dad got there, no problem. Listen, Aunt Poppy, no one asked Cassadine to be a hero, okay? I don't know him anything.
Lucky, he wanted to save you. It was a gift, not a debt.